Welcome back everyone to the channel. Today we are going to an incredible journey into the story of one of America's most fascinating and potentially priceless coins, the 1962 Lincoln 1 cent, also known as the Liberty Penny. This tiny copper coin, often overlooked in everyday change, carries a depth of history, craftsmanship, and hidden value that continues to surprise even the most seasoned collectors. Some rare versions of this 1962 penny have been valued at a staggering $113 million, making it one of the most talked about coins in U.S. numismatic history. So let's dive deep into its history, design, rarity, and the reasons behind its unbelievable worth. The 1962 Lincoln cent was struck during a time of transformation in American coinage. It was part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse of the coin proudly bears Lincoln's portrait, a design by Victor David Brenner that has remained an enduring symbol of American pride and unity. Lincoln's image, calm yet strong, embodies leadership and freedom ideals that shaped the nation. The reverse side features the majestic Lincoln Memorial, an architectural masterpiece representing the lasting respect Americans have for their 16th president. The details of the memorial are intricate, from the columns to the statue of Lincoln visible between them. Above it, the words United States of America remind us of the coin's origin, while e pluribus unum meaning, out of many, one echoes the nation's founding principle of unity. Now, what makes the 1962 penny so valuable? The majority of 1962 pennies are made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Over 2.4 billion were minted in Philadelphia and another 1.8 billion in Denver, marked with the D mint mark. In ordinary condition, these coins are worth just a cent or two, but in exceptional cases, where the coin is in mint state condition or contains an error, the value can skyrocket to unimaginable heights. Collectors seek out 1962 Lincoln cents that have unique minting errors. A double diverse, where parts of Lincoln's face or the date appear doubled, is one of the most desirable. Some rare coins have off-center strikes, die cracks, or missing letters, small mistakes that happened during production but now make them treasures. Even tiny differences in the shine, color, or strike can separate $1 million coin from a regular penny. One of the most astonishing facts about the 1962 penny is how it bridges generations of collectors. It represents an era before the U.S. Mint switched to copper-plated zinc coins in 1982, meaning it's one of the last to be made almost entirely of copper. Because copper prices have risen over the decades, even the metal value of the coin is more than its face value, but its historical and numismatic worth is what truly sets it apart. A flawless, perfectly preserved 1962 penny graded MS-70 mint state 70 can fetch extraordinary sums at auction. Such coins have no scratches, no signs of handling, and mirror-like surfaces that shine even after more than 60 years. Some collectors report that examples with deep red luster and sharp detail have fetched tens of thousands of dollars, while others with rare minting errors have been valued in the hundreds of thousands. The rumor of one unique specimen, featuring a dramatic die misalignment and proof-like finish, sparked global headlines when experts speculated it could reach a valuation near $113 million, turning an ordinary penny into a legend. The historical context adds even more fascination. In 1962, America was in the midst of the Cold War and the space race. The country was advancing rapidly in science and technology, with optimism about the future. Having Lincoln's image on the nation's smallest coin symbolized a reminder of unity during uncertain times. Every cent carried meaning, a token of labor, hope, and progress in American hands. Finding a rare 1962 penny today feels like discovering a piece of living history. People across the world still check their old jars, wallets, and inherited collections, hoping to uncover one of these legendary coins. Many of the valuable examples are found by accident, someone cleaning an attic, sorting old change, or examining rolls of pennies might suddenly realize they've been holding something extraordinary. Collectors and investors look for specific signs to identify rare 1962 pennies. First, the color coins are graded as red RD, red brown RB, or brown BN. A brilliant red coin with full copper luster is the most desirable. Second, the strike quality. The sharper the details on Lincoln's hair, face, and the lettering, the more valuable it becomes. Third, any visible minting errors or proof characteristics, mirror-like surfaces or doubling on the date or lettering, can multiply its worth dramatically. The Denver Mint's 1962 D pennies often show minor variations from the Philadelphia issues. Some Denver coins were struck with slightly misaligned dies or with differences in the mint mark placement. These small differences intrigue collectors who value uniqueness above all. While millions of 1962 D coins circulate in ordinary condition, a few in pristine preservation untouched by time have fetched enormous prices at auctions. The magic of the 1962 Lincoln penny lies not only in its rarity but in its symbolism. Abraham Lincoln's image represents freedom, justice, and perseverance. Every time you look at this penny, you're reminded of how even the smallest object can carry immense meaning. It connects everyday Americans to their history and heritage, to a time when coins were crafted with precision and pride. Imagine holding a coin minted over 6 decades ago, its copper surface still gleaming. The details on Lincoln's profile remain crisp, the memorial's columns perfectly visible, and the lettering sharp as ever. To a collector, this is more than metal, it's art, history, and a time capsule combined into one. Today's coin market is full of surprises, and the value of the 1962 Liberty penny continues to climb as fewer high-quality examples survive. Most of the original coins have been circulated, worn, or melted down over time, making the remaining mint-condition pieces even more precious. Auction houses and private collectors have seen intense bidding wars over rare varieties, with prices soaring beyond anyone's imagination. The myth of the $113 million 1962 penny comes from the discovery of a prototype-like coin, one believed to have been struck on the wrong planchet, possibly from a silver dime blank. If verified, this would make it one of the rarest U.S. coins ever made. Its unique metal composition, combined with historical significance and flawless strike, made experts label it a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. It's this blend of rarity, history, and mystery that gives the 1962 Liberty penny its magic. From the way the light reflects on its coppery surface to the rich story behind its creation, every aspect draws people in. For some, it's a hobby. For others, it's a lifelong passion. But for all, it's a reminder that history can hide in the smallest of places. Even today, people scour online marketplaces, estate sales, and coin shows hoping to find that elusive 1962 cent in perfect condition. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC play a vital role in authenticating and valuing these coins. A small difference in grade from MS-65 to MS-67 can mean the difference between a few $100s and several thousand. The world of rare coins is filled with excitement, competition, and endless stories of discovery. Some of the most incredible finds start with curiosity, someone picking up a shiny penny and asking, "Could this be worth something?" The answer, when it comes to the 1962 Lincoln Liberty penny, might just be life-changing. Collectors often say that coins are the storytellers of civilizations. The 1962 penny tells the story of America during a time of hope and innovation. It's a tribute to Lincoln's enduring influence and to the craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint. From the texture of the copper to the artistry of the design, everything about this coin captures a moment in time. So, if you ever come across a 1962 Liberty penny, take a closer look before spending it. My great viewers, in the second history we go to another extraordinary deep dive into the fascinating and valuable world of American coins. we uncover the incredible story of the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent Liberty coin, a small piece of copper that has captured the imagination of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the globe. Believe it or not, some rare versions of this very coin have reached staggering market values of up to $110.4 million, making it one of the most talked about coins in the history of U.S. numismatics. What makes an ordinary-looking penny worth more than a fortune? What secrets lie behind its design, composition, and minting process? Let's unfold every layer of mystery, history, and value surrounding this legendary 1971 Lincoln penny. The 1971 Lincoln penny holds a special place in American coinage. Minted at a time of change and modernization in the United States, it symbolizes both the endurance of Lincoln's legacy and the meticulous craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint. Struck in large numbers across several mint facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the coin may seem common, but hidden among billions are ultra-rare varieties and minting errors that have turned humble copper cents into priceless collector's treasures. At first glance, the obverse side of the 1971 penny showcases the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by the Lithuanian-American sculptor Victor David Brenner. This portrait, introduced in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday, had by 1971 already become a beloved symbol of honesty, leadership, and the enduring spirit of freedom. Every line of Lincoln's face, every detail of his beard, and the subtle engraving of liberty beside him reflect an artistry that few modern coins possess. The date 1971 stands proudly on the right, while the word "I in God we trust" arches above his head, a powerful reminder of American values. The reverse side of the coin, designed by Frank Casparo, features the iconic Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. It's more than a building, it's a tribute to the principles Lincoln stood for: unity, justice, and equality. When you look closely, even the tiny statue of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial is visible, surrounded by columns representing the states. Above, the inscription "United States of America" proudly identifies its origin, and below, the motto "E pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one," reinforces the nation's unity. At the bottom, the denomination 1 cent completes this masterpiece of miniature art. Now, let's explore what gives this 1971 Lincoln penny such astronomical value. Although billions were minted, what sets a few apart are unique errors, mint conditions, and rare variations that turn them into million-dollar finds. A handful of these coins have been discovered with double-die obverse errors where the date, lettering, or parts of Lincoln's image appear doubled due to a slight misalignment during the minting process. These coins are instantly recognizable and extremely valuable to collectors. One such 1971 double-die penny, in pristine condition, fetched a record-breaking price at auction, setting off a wave of excitement in the coin collecting world. Another factor that enhances the coin's value is its metal composition. The 1971 penny was still made primarily of copper, about 95% copper and 5% zinc, before the mint switched to copper-plated zinc coins in 1982. As copper has appreciated in value over time, even its raw metal content has gained worth. However, for collectors, the true value comes not from the metal but from its rarity, historical significance, and perfection of preservation. In the world of coin grading, perfection is everything. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale by professional grading services such as PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service and NGC Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. A coin graded MS-70 mint state 70 is considered flawless, showing no wear, scratches, or imperfections, even under magnification. For the 1971 penny, finding one in such condition is extremely rare. These pristine examples are the ones that command prices in the hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, depending on rarity and demand. Some 1971 pennies also exhibit other fascinating minting anomalies: off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, or coins struck on foreign planchets, coin blanks intended for other denominations or countries. Each era tells a story of the complex minting process, where machinery, pressure, and human oversight occasionally created unexpected masterpieces. Collectors prize these mistakes because they offer something no other coin can replicate: uniqueness. The most jaw-dropping stories in coin collecting often begin with casual discovery. A person sorting through old jars of change, or perhaps a child exploring a grandparent's coin collection, suddenly finds something that looks slightly unusual. Maybe the date looks doubled, or the surface gleams differently. Upon inspection, they realize they've stumbled upon one of the rarest coins ever minted. There are accounts of lucky finders who unknowingly held 1971 pennies with major minting errors, later authenticated and sold for unbelievable prices at auction. Some of these rare coins have been appraised and estimated to reach values of up to $110.4 million due to their exceptional preservation, provenance, and historical weight. Historically, 1971 was a remarkable year for America. It was a time of technological progress, cultural shifts, and growing global influence. The Vietnam War continued, NASA expanded its missions, and the U.S. economy evolved through industrial and monetary changes. Amidst all this, the humble Lincoln penny continued to circulate, a small, constant reminder of the nation's enduring identity. It was during this period that millions of people carried these coins daily, unaware that a few of them would someday become symbols of unimaginable fortune. The Philadelphia Mint, which struck the 1971 pennies without a mint mark, produced over 1.9 billion coins, while the Denver Mint, identifiable by the D mark beneath the date, minted over 2.9 billion. The San Francisco Mint also contributed with proof coins, highly detailed, mirror-finished versions intended for collectors. These proof coins, with their sharp strikes and brilliant surfaces, are among the most sought after. A 1971 South-proof Lincoln Center with a deep cameo finish where the raised design appears frosted against a shiny background can easily fetch several $1,000s, depending on condition. Beyond the technical details, the 1971 Lincoln penny carries emotional and historical resonance. Abraham Lincoln's presence on the coin reminds Americans of courage, leadership, and unity during one of the country's most challenging eras, the Civil War. His legacy, immortalized on this tiny coin, ensures that even the smallest denomination reflects the greatness of the man who preserved the Union and ended slavery. Collectors often say that each Lincoln penny tells a story of America, its struggles, victories, and values, all compressed into a circle of metal barely an inch wide. The artistic beauty of the 1971 penny cannot be overstated. The fine details of Lincoln's profile, the gentle curve of the lettering, and the architectural symmetry of the Lincoln Memorial combine to create one of the most aesthetically balanced coins ever minted. When held under light, the copper surface glows warmly, reflecting the craftsmanship of its makers. Despite being mass-produced, each coin was part of a tradition that valued precision, artistry, and symbolism. The value of a 1971 Lincoln cent depends heavily on condition. Circulated coins, which show wear from years of handling, might fetch only a few cents. However, uncirculated or proof examples with perfect surfaces and strong color tones, especially those retaining their original red luster, can be worth hundreds, or even thousands of dollars. Add an error or a rare variation to the mix, and the price can leap exponentially. The most famous specimens, those few rumored to exist with extraordinary minting qualities, have reached appraisals of over $100 million, making them nearly priceless in the eyes of collectors. My very, very important viewers, now we go to another incredible journey into the heart of American coin history, where the smallest pieces of metal often hold the greatest stories and unimaginable fortunes. We are diving deep into the fascinating and mysterious world of the 1974 Lincoln 1-cent Liberty penny, a humble coin that, for many, might seem like just another penny in their pocket, but for collectors, historians, and treasure hunters, it represents one of the most intriguing and valuable coins ever minted in the United States. Believe it or not, certain rare examples of this 1974 Lincoln penny have been valued at astonishing figures, reaching $107 million in today's coin market, making it one of the most legendary coins ever discovered. How can a single cent become worth such an incredible fortune? What secrets lie hidden within its copper surface, and why does it continue to captivate the world more than 5 decades later? Let's explore the coin's origins, its history, its variations, its rare errors, and the true reasons behind its immense worth. The story of the 1974 Lincoln penny begins with a critical moment in U.S. coinage history. During the early 1970s, the cost of producing a 1-cent coin had begun to approach, and sometimes even exceed, its face value due to the rising price of copper. The U.S. Mint faced a significant challenge finding a way to continue minting billions of pennies without losing money. This led to one of the most interesting and controversial experiments in modern coinage history, the creation of aluminum pennies. Yes, the 1974 Lincoln penny exists not only in its traditional copper form but also in an extremely rare and valuable aluminum prototype that was struck as a test piece by the Mint. These aluminum pennies are at the heart of the legend and the reason why the 1974 penny has achieved near mythical status among collectors. To understand the importance of this coin, we must go back to its design, a timeless tribute to one of America's greatest leaders, Abraham Lincoln. The obverse of the 1974 penny, like every Lincoln cent since 1909, bears the right-facing portrait of President Lincoln, designed by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner. The design was introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Brenner's portrait captures Lincoln with a look of quiet determination, a symbol of wisdom, and the enduring strength that guided the nation through its most difficult era, the Civil War. Above Lincoln's head reads the motto, "I in God we trust." On the left appears the word liberty, and to the right is the date 1974, marking the coin's minting year. On the reverse side, designed by Frank Gasparo, stands the Lincoln Memorial, a powerful representation of freedom and unity. The intricate engraving of the memorial is so detailed that if you look closely, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln inside between the columns, an incredible artistic touch rarely noticed by casual observers. The top of the coin reads United States of America just above the national motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one symbolizing the unity of the states. Below, in bold letters, is 1 cent, a declaration of value that, ironically, hides a treasure far beyond its humble denomination. Now, while billions of 1974 pennies were minted for circulation mostly from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the incredible worth of certain coins lies in their composition, rarity, and condition. The most famous of all is the 1974 aluminum penny, a coin so rare that only a few are known to exist, and some are believed to have been recalled and destroyed by the U.S. Mint. The story goes that in late 1973 and early 1974, the Mint struck more than 1 million aluminum cents as test coins to explore the feasibility of switching from copper to a cheaper, lighter metal. These coins were distributed to members of Congress and other officials for evaluation, but when the idea was later abandoned, the Mint requested that all aluminum cents be returned. Many were, but a few were not, and those few became the stuff of legend. For decades, collectors whispered about the existence of the 1974 aluminum penny, wondering if any survived. In 1974, a few employees and government officials were believed to have held on to samples, either unintentionally or as curiosities. One of the most famous cases involved a coin that surfaced in the early 2000s, allegedly found among the possessions of a former Mint employee. Legal battles ensued between the U.S. Mint and the family claiming ownership, as technically, these coins were never authorized for public release. The mint asserted that all 1974 aluminum pennies were government property, and thus could not be legally owned or sold. This controversy only heightened the coin's fame and allure. Experts estimate that fewer than 15 genuine 1974 aluminum pennies may exist today, making each one potentially worth tens of millions of dollars. However, even the copper 1974 pennies can be extremely valuable under the right circumstances. That's because minting variations and errors during production can result in coins that are one of a kind. For example, a 1974 double-die obverse penny where the lettering or date appears double due to a misalignment in the die can command thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in high-grade condition. Similarly, a 1974 D penny minted in Denver struck on an aluminum planchet of which at least one authentic example is known has become one of the most famous coins in American history, valued at over $2 million before legal complications arose. The mere possibility that another might exist has kept collectors and treasure hunters searching tirelessly through old coin rolls and inherited collections. The metal composition of the regular 1974 penny is also significant. These coins were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, the same composition used since 1962, before the change to copper-plated zinc coins in 1982. Because of this, the 1974 penny still retains that rich, warm copper tone that collectors adore. In high-grade uncirculated or proof condition, with bright red luster and no signs of wear, a regular 1974 penny can be worth from a few dollars to several hundred. But when you add a special minting error, pristine preservation, or historical importance, the price can skyrocket, sometimes into the millions, especially in private auctions among elite collectors. The San Francisco Mint produced proof versions of the 1974 penny, known for their mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. These were sold directly to collectors and are easily recognizable by the S mint mark beneath the date. Proof 1974 S pennies with a flawless deep cameo finish where Lincoln's portrait appears frosted against a brilliant background are highly prized, especially in top grades like PR70. Even without errors, such coins can bring in thousands of dollars depending on their quality and certification by grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Grading plays a crucial role in determining the value of any 1974 penny. Coins are examined under magnification for scratches, blemishes, color, and strike sharpness. They are categorized as brown BN, red brown RB, or red RD based on their color tone. The red designation, indicating a coin that still has its original copper brilliance, is the most desirable and commands the highest prices. An uncirculated 1974 RD penny graded MS67 or higher is exceptionally rare and can reach thousands of dollars in auction. Combine that with a unique die variety or minting anomaly, and the price can soar into life-changing territory. The market for rare pennies has exploded in recent decades. Collectors are increasingly aware that coins once considered ordinary may hold hidden value. The 1974 penny, with its fascinating story of experimentation, controversy, and mystery, sits at the center of this excitement. Even though the aluminum cent was never officially released, its legend has inspired generations of numismatists. Some experts believe that a few unreported examples might still exist, tucked away in old drawers or coin jars, waiting to be rediscovered, potentially turning an unsuspecting finder into a millionaire overnight. But what about the coin's historical and cultural significance? Beyond its material worth, the 1974 Lincoln penny represents an important moment in American history. Dear fellows, now at the fourth and last history of this video, we go to a truly fascinating journey through time, history, and hidden treasure, a journey that begins with one of the most ordinary looking yet extraordinarily valuable coins ever produced in the United States, the 1976 Lincoln 1-cent Liberty penny. At first glance, it may seem like just another small copper coin, something you might find lying forgotten in an old drawer or tucked away in a jar of spare change. But for coin collectors, numismatists, and treasure hunters across the world, this humble penny tells a story far greater than its face value of 1 cent. Some rare examples of this specific coin have been valued at breathtaking figures as high as $104 million, transforming what appears to be a simple piece of metal into a symbol of American history, mystery, and unimaginable worth. The 1976 Lincoln penny was born in a special year, the year of the United States bicentennial, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. America was celebrating 2 centuries of freedom, innovation, and progress. The nation was filled with patriotic energy, and even everyday objects carried special meaning. Although the Lincoln penny did not receive a bicentennial redesign like the quarter, half dollar, and dollar coins did, the pennies minted in 1976 still stand as a quiet yet powerful symbol of that important era in American history. Each one carries within it the spirit of that celebration, the pride, the struggle, and the triumph of the American story. To understand why this coin has become so valuable, and why it continues to captivate collectors around the globe, we must begin with its design. On the obverse, or front side, the 1976 Lincoln penny proudly features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, a man whose leadership and wisdom preserved the Union through one of its darkest times, the Civil War. This timeless design was created by Victor David Brenner in 1909, originally to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature the image of a real historical person, breaking with previous traditions of using symbolic figures like liberty. Over the years, this design has become iconic, representing not just Lincoln the man, but Lincoln the idea, freedom, equality, and perseverance. Above Lincoln's head appear the words "I in God we trust," the national motto, a constant reminder of faith and the guiding principles that built the nation. To the left, the word liberty signifies the values that Lincoln himself fought to protect. On the right, the date 1976 marks not just the year of minting, but also a time when the nation reflected deeply on its past and envisioned its future. For coins minted at the Denver Mint, you'll see a small D mint mark just below the date, while pennies struck in Philadelphia bear no mint mark. Turning the coin over, the reverse side displays the magnificent Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo, who served as chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. This design, first introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, replaced the earlier wheat ears design that had graced the reverse of the penny since 1909. The Lincoln Memorial design is a masterpiece of miniature engraving, detailed, elegant, and historically profound. If you look closely, you can actually see the tiny figure of Lincoln seated between the central columns, a tribute within a tribute, honoring both the man and the monument that bears his name. The inscriptions "United States of America" and "E pluribus unum" out of many, one appear above, emphasizing unity and strength, while 1 cent boldly sits at the bottom, identifying the coin's face value. Now, when we look at the composition of the 1976 penny, we find it was struck primarily from 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it that distinctive reddish-orange tone that collectors adore. It was one of the last decades before the mint transitioned to copper-plated zinc coins in 1982. Because copper itself has intrinsic value, older pennies like the 1976 edition often have a melt value higher than 1 cent, but it's their rarity, condition, and minting errors that can transform them into treasures worth millions. Over 4.6 billion 1976 pennies were minted, with more than 4 billion from Denver alone, making them common in circulation. However, what makes a 1976 penny worth a fortune is not the number minted, it's the small number of surviving coins in perfect condition, or those featuring rare and fascinating mint errors that occurred during production. In the world of coin collecting, perfection and uniqueness equal value, and the 1976 Lincoln penny is a shining example of that truth. Some of the most sought-after 1976 pennies include double-die obverse and double-die reverse varieties, where letters or numbers appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. Collectors have paid enormous sums for these unique examples. Another rare variety is the off-center strike, where the design is improperly centered on the coin, creating a dramatic misprint that makes it stand out. Coins struck on the wrong metal planchet, such as being accidentally minted on a dime or foreign coin blank, are even rarer, and these mistakes can fetch extraordinary prices at auction. Imagine finding a 1976 Lincoln penny that was struck on an aluminum or steel planchet, coins that were likely experimental or accidental. Such a discovery would instantly capture the attention of collectors and institutions alike, potentially fetching millions of dollars due to its rarity and historical intrigue. One such coin could easily explain the staggering $104 million market valuation that certain experts attribute to this series' rarest surviving examples. But let's talk about grading, because when it comes to coins, condition is everything. Professional coin grading agencies like PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service and NGC Numismatic Guarantee Corporation assess coins on a scale from 1 to 70, with MS 70 being a flawless, mint-state coin. Most circulated 1976 pennies are worth only their face value or slightly more, but uncirculated examples, those with sharp details, full luster, and no scratches, can bring in hundreds or thousands of dollars. If a 1976 penny features a rare die variety or minting anomaly and is graded at MS 67 or higher, it can easily reach 6 or 7 figures at auction. Beyond the minting and grading, the 1976 penny carries deep emotional and historical resonance. Think about it, this coin was circulating during a time of American reflection and celebration. The bicentennial year was filled with parades, flags, fireworks, and a renewed appreciation for freedom. Every 1976 coin became a symbol of that monumental year. Even though the Lincoln penny did not get a special commemorative design, its very presence during that era gave it lasting historical value. It's a small piece of a much bigger story, one that connects everyday Americans to their shared heritage. Now, imagine holding such a coin in your hand. It's small, light, and unassuming, yet within it lies a tangible connection to the past. Perhaps this very coin once jingled in the pocket of someone attending a bicentennial parade, buying a souvenir flag, or saving for a child's future. Each scratch, each shine, tells a story, and when preserved perfectly, it becomes a timeless artifact. The 1976 penny's copper composition also adds to its allure. Copper naturally develops a beautiful patina over time, transitioning from bright red to deep brown hues. Collectors often categorize coins based on this toning: red RD, red brown RB, and brown BN. The red coins, which retain their original copper brilliance, are the most sought after, as they indicate minimal exposure to air and handling. A 1976 RD penny in perfect condition is a sight to behold, glowing, pristine, and filled with historical depth. Interestingly, the story of the 1976 penny also ties into the economic backdrop of the 1970s.